welcome to this episode of Life with Professor Retro. What you're about to see is another flashback episode, a two-for flashback episode, if you will. I am going to show you, what you're about to see is going to be the look into what was once known as Regency Mall in Racine, Wisconsin. This is back, I'd say, about almost 7-8 years ago when I had first moved to Racine and when I had first started dating my wife. I had did a series called Sad Reality on my main channel, which is now Professor Retro. Back then it was just called Unser Productions, and I had created a series called Sad Reality where I went into dying malls and dying retail stores and kind of documented them. So give vlog in a way, if you want to say. Excuse me. Back then, there was Regency Mall was still kind of a struggling mall. A couple of the stores were gone. Actually, majority of the stores were gone and covered up by murals. The rumor was that the new owners of the mall were going to try to attempt to bring it back to what it was in its heyday, but that never came to fruition. So, nowadays, it's like a third of a mall, if you want to count it as that. Couple of the stores that were there are no longer there. Toys R Us has been gone for a long time. That's turned into a Burlington coat factory. There was an Applebee's there that's now currently being torn down. A good chunk of the mall has been torn down and turned into a Woodman's grocery store. So, I hope you enjoy this look into what was once Regency Mall. And then the second part is what was once storefronts and I think across the street from Regency Mall. So anyway, I hope you enjoy these videos. I'll see you at the end. Alright, this is our last stop for this episode. Here at Regency Mall in Racine, Wisconsin. This mall was built back in 1960 something, I think. And go for it. I did. Yeah. This mall was actually conceived and planned in the 1950s. It officially built in started building in the 60s, and now it is officially, and in the 70s, it was officially done. We're about to go inside, so let's have some fun and go inside Regency Mall. Like the layout of the mall is actually kind of nice. First we got Planet Fitness over there, Bob's Discount Furniture. Seems to be a big thing in this side of town. A little bit of history you could look at as you ponder the mall. Rumor has it someone had actually bought this and was planning to literally revive this into what it used to be back in the day. More history on this wall. This Racine, it looks like.
Pretty much, yeah.
This is pretty much at the center of. This is pretty much at the center of the mall. Of course, another advertisement for Bob's Discount Furniture. No idea what is there. And you got some stores down here. And I'm going to turn this over to my cameraman. He's going to do a bit of filming himself for a bit. So we are at pretty much the center of the mall. You look this way. That's fine. You're pretty much look that way. You got two stores that are still open. More history on the wall. And this way, you've got two stores over that way. Maybe like one. I just see an ice cream shop. Nothing behind us at all. Or nothing when you just saw us came in. So, let's go explore the mall. So, first, I got GNC, your typical mall health food store. Stores that were once kiosks. They bought up open spots as well. Or even slowly dying malls have to have their outrageously overpriced shoe stores, mall kiosks. There's a couple of them. And go over here. On this wall is some more history of Racine and different areas of Racine. Where you can all go. Apparently there's a meatball fountain. Maybe I'll find it someday and we'll see what it does. More history of it on the walls. And here's the rest of the stores down this corridor here. There's got some nice carpeting, some seats. It's a typical mall. I'm not originally from this area. I am actually visiting some friends out in this area. One of them happens to be my cameraman. If you see the distance, you can't tell. There's a store called FYE, which stands for your entertainment. And it's not just music, it's pretty much anything. It's vendors. These are kind of a dining mall staple. We don't even have these back where I am. There's a Champs on FYE. Next to a Hot Topic. And of course, your T-Mobile and your lids. We're getting to another center part of the mall where there's about more corridors. So let's keep walking, or more mall kiosks. Another kind of center point in this mall that kind of separates sections. It's a pretty big mall. Of course, over here you have a Burlington Coat Factory, the K Jewelers, another jewelry store. And then this is an interesting point because back years ago, this was a Sears. But when Sears pulled out, Dunham Sportswear took in and trying to take the coveted mall, staple mall anchor position. We're going to go down this way because we're going to keep going. There's really nothing else down here. Unless it's building some coat factory and Dunham Sportswear, which I'm not going to go. There are a couple of stores attached to the mall that you can only get through from the outside entrances of those actual stores. I mentioned them briefly in part one. I may go a little bit detail inside those places tonight. And some stores I've never heard of. Never heard of Jimmy Jazz. I think it's another overpriced clothing store. If you can see off in the distance there, that is a Boston store, or what was a Boston store, I should say. They are about all gone. A little bit about them. Their parent company, known as Bonton, had went belly up just after the beginning of this year, and they just started closing up stores left, right, and center. Overpriced children's clothing store in there. Blue 21. A kid's Foot Locker. Another Foot Locker down there. Not much left. A couple more stores down that way. Let's keep taking a walk. Some history and some attractions here in Racine. We got a wall talking about the zoo. Another overpriced clothing store. Charlotte Rouge. The kids' Foot Locker. Bath and Body Works. Victoria's Secrets. In a lot of these stores, the view is telling you kind of cheaply made phone cases and also repair earphone screens for you if you need to have that done. This one's closed up for the night. Oh, well, okay, this one's closed up for 10-15 minutes. Another jewelry store up in the distance, right next to a Foot Locker. I'm not sure what that is. YMCA office. And here we got a GameStop. It's just pretty much almost a mall staple by now. Most malls I've been to have GameStops. Yeah. Slightly overpriced video games. But if you can know where the shit, you find the details. Oh, there's a staple of a dying mall. A make-your-own t-shirt shop. There's not much down this corridor except another entrance, and I think that is nothing. It's empty. I got nails, another entrance. Not sure what else is down here. You got, of course, just said a t-shirt express. This is just where you can buy a t-shirt, have them make the design on it. And here we got easy fit alterations. Of course, you can't really make that out in the sign. You have to go here to see what they're getting at. I have no idea what this is. I'm assuming it's a tailor shop. Here's a closed up Attitudes. If they're told to check their attitudes. YMCA office. As if really YMCA's need to have a mall presence. Off your restrooms, and those of you who've seen some of the earlier stuff I've done at this mall, this is Boston Store. But it used to be a Boston Store. This said their company went belly up in about end of beginning of this year. So they started pulling up stores left and right. This is kind of one of what was left. I'm pretty sure this is probably a pretty interesting looking store when it's back in the day when it was busy. That's pretty much it for Regency Mall. We might do one or two other stops tonight before it gets dark. This video will probably be out sometime tonight. Until then, this is Paul for Sad Reality. And we'll see you at the next Regency Mall. And across the street from it, there's another whole slew of dead stores, pretty much. If you can look into here, this was an auto parts store. It says CarQuest, but I think that was part of the auto parts store itself. It looks like someone had tried to do some work in here, but just gave up. And the odd part is, if you look, see if I can get closer. The keys to the building are still locked inside the building. Hi. And here, another empty lot of stores. Who knows what was in this? But it is empty. I'm sure there probably is label scarring, but I'm not going to go out in the heat to do it. This is a nice shady one.
I don't think there is any label scarring. There's barely any.
Another one. Kind of empty. As you can see. Across from us is a Popeyes, a Chuck E. Cheese, and where we last were at mall.
This used to be Joanne Fabrics until they moved that in the mall.
As you just heard, my friend just said that this is
Friend.
my girlfriend just said that this used to be a Joanne Fabric. It used to until they moved into the mall, and nothing is bought it, and it's in decay. I mean, the floor is ripped off. You could see where they had registers and shelving that's been there probably for decades and years while they were in this location. More of what used to be Joanne Fabrics. I think one of the only few things here besides the pet supply plot store is a nail salon somewhere.
It's coming.
There's a truck bicycle store. Just still in business.
Just moved in not too long ago. I forgot what used to be here. And this is a very expensive bike store.
Yeah, truck are very high-end bicycle to buy.
This is Gigi Spa, which the woman's barely in the store.
This is a spa. Looks like a nail salon. I mean, you can see their services.
There's nail salon right here.
And this is Nail Love, my favorite salon.
And this is, yeah, as my girlfriend says, her favorite salon. And I think we're going to take a side note for this. As you can see, this is inside of that. And let's take a look at her Deadpool nails she got done here. Aren't they wonderful? They were able to turn her nails into Deadpool. Keeping on.
I think right over there.
This one used to be Michael's.
I thought it was Michael's.
This was Michael's until Michael's moved over by Best Buy. No.
And that's going to do it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed this flashback into my past, into my YouTube past, if you will. If you like these, let me know down in the comments down below. If you have questions about these, let me if you have comments down below. Also, feel free to say where you are watching from. I'll give you a shout out in the next vlog. Till then, road is where the stories are. Peace out. Stay frosty, do good in the world, and I'll see you in the next one.